Hey guys, this is Bobby here. I'm going to do an Extreme Rules review for you guys. I understand it's a few days late, and therefore again I'll be reading off notes, and hopefully my thoughts won't be too foggy, but it's been a few days since I saw the pay-per-view, so sorry about that. I hope everything's clear. Callum and I discussed it, and we thought that even though it is a little late going up, we shouldn't really miss a pay-per-view. I'm going to try and talk about it as if I haven't seen the disaster that was Raw. I have, so I might make reference to it, but I'm going to try and review it as I might have done at the time, having just watched it. So anyway, we're going to start off with the Fatal 4-Way for the US Championship between Kofi Kingston, William Regal, MVP, and Matt Hardy. Kofi Kingston wins to retain his title. Right from the beginning, I noticed at this pay-per-view that the crowd were great. The crowd were really good, getting good pops for all sorts of people. MVP got a really good pop for this match. MVP gets a very mixed response in terms of pops. Some crowds are just dead for him, and some crowds are really into it. So this crowd were really into it. There was a kind of double superplex spot in this match that MVP kind of botched. I really like MVP. I have a soft spot for him, but he's a bit of a botchaholic sometimes. Not as much as Kofi Kingston. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think Kofi Kingston is really sloppy. I really think he's got a lot to work on. Good raw talent, but again, a comparison I've made before, if you compare him with someone like Evan Bourne, who's also got a similar style of great raw talent, Bourne is really refined and really well put together. He knows exactly what he's doing, and all of his offense is very concentrated and very slick. Kingston managed to botch his own finisher in this match. The Trouble in Paradise, which is supposed to be a sort of spinning, flying roundhouse kick, as you know, was basically just a standing enziguri. I know, it's roughly the same thing, but it's the details. I mean, he does botch an awful lot of moves, and I'm in two minds about him. Of course, hitting that on William Regal, he won the match. I thought Regal looked good in this match. I always think Regal looks pretty good, but I thought he looked strong. I think he's making a real effort at the moment, William Regal, to try and make his offense impressive, to try and get back some kind of title at some point. I don't see it happening, but Matt Hardy was terrible, as usual. I mean, really just, I couldn't imagine someone more boring to watch than Matt Hardy. He really is so dull in the ring. So it's not really worth talking about him. MVP looked pretty good. I would say Regal and MVP both look better than Kingston in this match. But there you have it. Kingston's really over, so I suppose that's good. This was okay. This was not bad. It felt a bit lackluster for a pay-per-view. It felt like if I'd seen it on Raw, I'd have said, "Oh, that was a good match." But it was okay. Not a bad way to start the show. Not bad. So we'll move on. We had a very brief Big Show promo where he was asked about what his strategy was for the match, and he was basically just reiterating the whole thing about how Cena can't apply the STF to him. Like, you know, oh yeah, later on, Cena can't apply the STF. Oh wait, he just did. Obviously, we all saw that coming. But ridiculous. Next we had Chris Jericho against Rey Mysterio for the Intercontinental title. I've got to admit, unfortunately I was watching this on a feed, and my feed cut out for a good deal of this match, so I missed quite a lot of it. What I did see was pretty good. I kind of came back into it when Jericho hit a beautiful torture rack backbreaker on Rey Mysterio. Absolutely fantastic offense, the kind of move that you forget that Jericho can do. Brilliant. There was some good chair offense in this match, some nice use of the chair to give it that little hardcore edge, because you know it's supposed to be Extreme Rules. That's one thing I noticed about this pay-per-view. It was supposed to be Extreme Rules, and it wasn't that extreme. And then Jericho kind of rolls Mysterio up while pulling his mask off to get the 3 and win his record 9th Intercontinental title. The ending was pretty sloppy, the roll-up and everything. It didn't quite look right. It wasn't befitting of two men of this level of talent. But Mysterio's been unmasked, so I'm curious to see how that pans out on SmackDown. I don't know if they're going to stick with that or what. Callum thinks there'll be a rematch. It'll be like Mask versus something. I am not sure. I think Mysterio's performance in 2009 in the ring has been so good and so over that I could really see him back in the world title picture before long, especially given the events that transpire towards the end of this pay-per-view. Anyway, we'll move on. Next we had a Batista segment. Oh dear. Nobody likes a Batista segment or promo. Very, 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 very stale. It really added nothing to anything. It was just like, I am going to hurt Randy Orton, and I am going to take his title and his pride and his dignity, blah, 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 blah. Shut up. I didn't really get that, especially seeing as I don't see what the point of threatening to take Orton's dignity is. I thought half the point of Randy Orton was that he doesn't have any dignity. He just is a wanker, basically. But I don't know, Batista, I loathe Batista, so I'm not really going to say anything good about his segment, am I? If anybody liked this promo, let me know. Also, try and convince me that you're not an idiot, because I would think you'd have to be an idiot to enjoy a Batista promo, and I'm sure you, our viewers, are not idiots. Right, okay, next up we had CM Punk against Umaga in a Samoan strap match. Callum was looking forward to this. I was kind of looking forward to it, but I'm not that keen on strap matches or bull rope matches or whatever. They don't really do it for me. This was quite good. There were some flaws with it. It was a shame for a good proportion of the match. The monitor in the top corner that lets you know how many corners have been touched wasn't really working. The strap was far too long. It was so obvious to me that they should have really made a lot out of Punk struggling to carry Umaga's weight around the ring, but they didn't really do that. It was far too short. For a strap matches really need some length to give themselves some storytelling. Far too short. All three of the first three matches were too short. And it just, I don't know, I thought it was the weakest match out of a relatively good series of matches that Umaga and Punk have had. I'm quite impressed that Punk can hit the go to sleep on Umaga, because Punk isn't very big, so I mean that was cool. Punk gets around four corners and Umaga goes to stop him and break the count, but Punk hits the GTS and wins. Yeah, it was alright. Again, not particularly extreme, but not bad. Why has Umaga been released? Umaga has been released now, apparently. Why? First Kennedy, probably the man with the greatest potential for growth and development in the company, and now Umaga, their only semi-decent big man. I mean, what other super heavyweights have they got? The great Khali? Why is he not released? Why would you say, oh no, we don't want Umaga, he's, athletic and fast and, good. We'll keep Khali, he's just like a... What is Khali like? What would you say Khali's like? I would say Khali is like... not a tree. I compared Batista to a tree. I don't know, something really big. Like a wall. Khali is a bit like a wall. Watching Khali is a bit like watching a wall. That's about the speed he moves at. Anyway, I'm totally digressing. I just wanted to say I'm really annoyed by these releases. It's ridiculous. It's badly thought out. Not happy. Right, so I'm going to finish off part one by saying that we had a segment leading up to the next match, a Christian segment, saying he's going to miss Tommy Dreamer, but Tommy Dreamer is still going, and Christian is still going to be the ECW champion. Dreamer and Swagger show up, and it turned into a very messy three-way promo. I wasn't really feeling it. They said something about Tommy Dreamer's a melting candle and Christian is the wick. Okay. I don't really know what that was all about, so that's going to be leading into the ECW Championship match, which I'll talk about in part 2.